In Jordan, Bedouin tribes still welcome strangers with a tiny cup of coffee, offered in silence, steeped in centuries of honor. In the lost city of Petra, temples and tombs are carved directly into rose-red mountains, a monument to a vanished empire and its mystery. Dating is so private, so sacred, that love letters are often hidden inside olive branches and delivered through cousins. And on the shores of the Dead Sea, you can float without effort, in waters nearly 10 times saltier than the ocean, kissed by ancient winds. Welcome to Jordan, where silence speaks, stone whispers, and the desert sings. Let's explore 20 mind-blowing S about one of the Middle East's best-kept secrets. 1. The coffee code. Hospitality in 3 sips in the West. Coffee is casual. In Jordan, it's sacred. Bedouin tribes still follow an ancient ritual. When a guest arrives, they're offered Arabic coffee, dark, bitter, scented with cardamom. But here's the secret. It's not just about drinking. It's a conversation, without words. The first sip says, "You're welcome here." The second, "You honor us with your presence." And the third, "Our bond is sealed." More than 3 sips, that's considered impolite, as if you've overstayed your welcome. And if a guest refuses coffee altogether, that sends a message too, a peaceful protest, a soft signal of grievance. The host, in turn, drinks first, to prove it's safe, then pours with the right hand from a long-spouted pot called a dalla into tiny cups with no handles. You don't ask for a refill. You shake your empty cup. It's all subtle. It's all symbolic. This isn't caffeine. It's communion. In Jordan, a few ounces of coffee hold 1,000 years of hospitality and a quiet promise: you're safe here. Where love is silent, Jordan's hidden romance rules. In Jordan, love hides in the quiet places. It lives in a glance across a family dinner, a folded note passed through a trusted cousin, a whispered promise carried by the desert wind. Public dating is rare, especially in rural towns and traditional families. Love is private, precious, protected. Young couples don't hold hands in the street. There are no grand gestures in restaurants, no midnight kisses on park benches. Instead, courtship often begins through family introductions, a ritual of respect and intention. It's not repression, it's reverence. In a culture where marriage is sacred, love isn't casual. It's something earned, with patience, with permission, and with poetry. And yet, behind the reserve, Jordanians are deeply romantic. Their weddings are thunderous. Their songs ache with longing. Their hearts, though quiet, burn bright. Would you ever fall in love in silence? 3. The gas truck that plays. Beethoven, close your eyes and imagine it. The warm sun rising over Amman, and Beethoven's For Elise echoing through the alleyways. You'd think it was an ice cream truck, but in Jordan, that melody means something else entirely. It means the gas man has arrived. Each neighborhood has its own gas delivery truck. They roam the streets with massive propane canisters strapped to the back and a speaker blasting classical music. Usually Beethoven, sometimes Mozart. Never expected. It's one of the most surreal sounds in the Middle East. Western symphonies floating through minarets, spice stalls, and Roman ruins. Kids hum along. Grandmothers peek from windows. Everyone knows the tune. No loudspeakers yelling. Gas! Just the elegance of 18th century Europe, inviting you to refill your stove. It's a strange, beautiful fusion, East and West. Tradition and technology, fuel and finesse. If you visited Jordan, would you recognize the gas truck? By its music? 4. Floating in the Dead Sea. Earth's natural space called the Dead Sea. But it feels more like the womb of the earth. The water here is so dense with salt, you don't swim, you float, effortlessly, as if the planet itself is holding you up. No fish live here, No plants grow. It's too salty, nearly 10 times saltier than the ocean. And yet, this lifeless lake is one of the most healing places on Earth. Locals travel for hours to reach its shores. They smear themselves with thick, black mud, rich in minerals, and bake beneath the sun. The ritual is ancient, sacred, restorative. It stings your skin at first, but then comes the silence, the stillness, the slow pull of gravity reversing. At 430 meters below sea level, this is the lowest point on Earth's surface, and perhaps the closest we'll ever get to feeling weightless. Even the air feels different here. Thicker, more oxygen-rich. You breathe deeper. Slower. Would you float in a sea that once embraced prophets and kings? 5. Mansaf, the national dish. You must eat with your hands. If you ever get invited to a Jordanian home, pray they serve mansaf. It arrives on a massive platter, lamb so tender it falls apart, resting on warm, fluffy rice, drenched in a golden sauce made from jameed, sun-dried fermented yogurt. No forks, no knives, no hesitation. You eat with your right hand, scooping and shaping a bite with practiced grace. The host invites you first. You take from your side of the platter only, never crossing into someone else's section. That's etiquette. That's honor. Mansaf isn't just food. It's identity, a symbol of pride, generosity, and togetherness, especially among Bedouin tribes. It's eaten at weddings, funerals, holidays. It unites families. It heals tensions. The jameed tastes tangy, earthy, almost like aged cheese. The lamb melts. The rice is soft and fragrant. And when you finish, the host often says, "Satain." To your health. Could you eat your next feast without utensils? 6. The eternal frown. Why Jordanians don't smile at strangers? At first, you might think. Jordanians are unfriendly. On the street, few people smile without reason. Faces are serious, brows furrowed, conversations direct. But this isn't coldness. It's cultural dignity. In Jordan, a smile is earned, not automatic. It carries meaning and weight. To smile without knowing someone can feel fake, even suspicious. It's as if you're intruding on their space or offering something insincere. But once you break the ice, ask for directions, share a laugh, accept a cup of tea, that frown melts into warmth, and the transformation is magical. Jordanians are among the most hospitable people on earth, but trust is built like a slow fire. It starts with stillness. This cultural reserve is especially strong among elders and in conservative towns, but even in Amman you'll feel it. The beauty is, when someone finally smiles at you, it means something. So don't expect grins from strangers here, but earn one, and you'll never forget it. Ramadan nights, a city that wakes after sunset when the sun dips below the Jordanian horizon during Ramadan, a quiet transformation begins. The streets of Amman, once hushed by fasting, stir with anticipation. As the first call to prayer echoes through the city, families gather around trays of dates, lentil soup, and katayef, sweet pancakes filled with nuts and cheese. And then, the night truly awakens. Lanterns glow like fireflies in the alleys. Cafes overflow with friends sipping mint tea until sunrise. Food stalls sizzle with shawarma, falafel, and fresh knafe. Children play soccer under moonlight. Entire neighborhoods seem to reverse the clock. Ramadan in Jordan isn't just about spiritual reflection. It's a nightly festival of flavor, community, and joy. You haven't experienced Jordan until you've walked through its old markets at 1 a.m., where baklava is stacked in golden pyramids and oud music drifts from open windows. Would you enjoy a country that comes alive when the rest of the world sleeps? Let us know in the comments. Desert weddings and camel parades out in the endless sands of Wadi Rum and the wind-carved valleys of Petra. Love is a celebration woven into tradition. Bedouin weddings are not quiet affairs. They are thunderous and glorious, the kind of festivity that echoes through the dunes. Picture this. The groom rides in on a decorated camel. Behind him, a caravan of family and friends stretches across the desert horizon. Women chant in ululation, a high-pitched, rhythmic sound of joy. Men perform the dabke, a warrior's stomp dance, their feet thundering like hooves on stone. Swords flash, drums beat, coffee flows. Whole lambs are roasted underground, buried in sand ovens lined with embers. A Bedouin wedding is more than a ceremony. It's a multi-day gathering of tribes, tales, and traditions that have danced through the desert for centuries. In this corner of the world, weddings are not just about two people, but about entire communities affirming life, love, and heritage. Imagine your wedding taking place under a galaxy of stars, with camels as your bridal procession, romantic or wild. 9. The Black Line of Honor. Why Bedouins paint their eyes in the deep south of Jordan, in the land of sand and sun. You might notice something striking about Bedouin men. A dark, bold line traces their eyes. Not makeup, but a powerful tradition. It's called kohl. And while outsiders may associate it with aesthetics, to Bedouins, it means much more. Historically, kohl protected the eyes from the harsh desert glare, a natural sunblock long before sunglasses. Warriors wore it into battle, believing it invoked the strength and courage of their ancestors. Even today, in weddings or festivals, the black streaks return, a reminder of honor, of resilience, of roots stretching deeper than the dunes. 2. The untrained eye. It may seem like vanity, but for the Bedouin, it's memory, etched in mineral. Ancient Egyptians once lined their eyes the same way. The practice traveled through millennia, surviving in the hearts of nomads. Would you try kohl, if it meant connecting with a 4,000-year-old custom? 10. The city split in two, east versus west. Amman isn't just one city, it's two cities stitched together by history and asphalt. To the west, you'll find modernity in full swing. Glass towers gleam. Boutiques stock European fashion. Rooftop lounges serve craft coffee with skyline views. English fills the air. West Amman pulses like a young heart. Eager, creative, global. But cross a few hills, and you arrive in East Amman. Here, the soul of tradition lingers. Markets brim with spices, olives, and shouts of bargaining. Men in long dish dashers sip cardamom coffee on sidewalks. Women balance baskets of bread on their heads. Murals of King Hussein and Palestinian martyrs color the walls. It's raw, it's real, and it's deeply Jordanian. The city's division isn't hostile, it's harmonious. Two personalities in one beating chest. East holds the memory. West embraces the future. Most travelers visit West Amman and miss the poetry of the East. But if you want to understand a place, you must see both the mirror and the reflection. Would you spend a day in each side and tell us which spoke louder to your heart? 11. Stray dogs, sacred cats, street animals of Jordan's quieter towns, outside the traffic of Amman or the silence of Wadi Musa, you may notice a low silhouette crossing the road. A stray dog, quiet, watchful, often traveling, in loose packs near the outskirts of villages. They are not feared, they are not loved, they simply dar, but cats, they hold a different place. In the dusty alleys of Madaba or along the steps of Petra, cats lounge like royalty. Locals feed them scraps of shawarma or fish, even during Ramadan, even during times when money is tight and meals are sparse. There's a deep cultural reverence here. In Islam, cats are considered clean and noble. According to legend, the Prophet Muhammad cut his robe rather than disturb a sleeping cat on his lap. So in Jordan, even if the house is small and the pantry modest, a plate for a cat is often left out. It's not unusual to see a cat sunbathing in a mosque courtyard, completely at ease, or to see a woman in a hijab bending down with whispered tenderness, setting out water under the olive trees. Dogs wander the edges. Cats sleep in the heart of the city. And perhaps that says something about what Jordanians cherish. Dignity, calm, presence. Have you ever traveled somewhere where animals were treated like quiet citizens? Tell us in the comments. Baptism site of Jesus. Where history touches, water on the east bank of the Jordan River, there is no grand cathedral, no tourist complex, just reeds, sunlight, and a current that whispers. This is Al-Maktas, the site where, it is believed, John baptized Jesus. The river flows slowly here, a dusty gold under the sun. Pilgrims come from all over the world. Some step barefoot into the water, white robes clinging to them as they cry or pray. Others simply kneel. This is one of Christianity's holiest places, yet its atmosphere is quiet, more sacred than showy. There are ancient steps carved into the mud, the ruins of churches sunken by centuries. And across the narrow water, the hills of Israel shimmer in the heat. You may hear chanting. You may hear silence. Al-Maktas isn't just a historical, it's a feeling, a pause in time. And whether you believe in prophecy or simply the power of place, standing on its shore reminds you. Some waters carry stories. Some lands still echo with the prayers of millions. No alcohol, yes, and no, Jordan isn't dry, but it's not exactly wet either. Alcohol is legal here, but the rules ripple under the surface like currents beneath calm waters. Walk through downtown Amman and you'll see juice bars, coffee stands, and shisha cafes, but beer, wine, not in plain sight. Instead, alcohol is found in licensed hotels, private clubs, upscale restaurants, and neighborhoods where Christian Jordanians live. In cities like Fuhais or parts of Madaba, you may find a quiet bar serving local wine from Mount Nebo's vineyards or a crisp Jordanian lager. But in conservative towns, it's a different rhythm. Drinking in public is frowned upon. Buying alcohol during Ramadan, restricted. And for many families, serving alcohol at home would be unthinkable. This isn't about law as much as custom. Jordan walks a tightrope, balancing its Islamic identity with a tolerant openness. So, if you come here, understand the etiquette, order your drink respectfully, never on the street, and always with awareness. Because in Jordan, hospitality matters more than hedonism, and restraint is a virtue woven into the rhythm of life. Tattoos, piercings, and the tribal identity. In the Western world, tattoos often mean rebellion. In Jordan's Bedouin culture, they mean belonging. Among older women, especially in the southern deserts, you may still glimpse inked chins, dotted foreheads, or tiny geometric symbols near the eyes. These tattoos are not decoration, they're declarations. Each mark carries meaning, tribe, lineage, a rite of passage, a prayer for fertility, a story written on skin. Using soot or herbs, the designs were applied with thorns or heated needles. The pain was part of the process, a mark of strength. Piercings too held cultural weight. Nose rings, for instance, weren't mere ornaments. They were symbols of wealth, marriage, or status. But this tradition is fading. Young Bedouins now wear jeans, drive pickups, and scroll through Instagram. Facial tattoos are rare among the new generation, often viewed with curiosity rather than pride. Yet in the villages near Wadi Rum or Azraq, you might still meet an elder woman whose face carries a map of her ancestors. Look closely, and you'll see not rebellion. 15. The sand that looks like Mars. Wadi Rum isn't a desert, it's another planet. Red sand spreads like velvet beneath jagged cliffs. Wind-carved arches rise like the gates of an ancient empire. And at night, oh, the stars. So vivid, so close, you feel like you could pluck them from the sky. This is why Wadi Rum has starred in movies like The Martian, Dune, and Star Wars. NASA even used it to train astronauts in Mars-like conditions, but no camera can truly capture the silence here. The way the heat hums at noon, the way shadows stretch like silk across the sand. Bedouin camps dot the valley. Some are luxe glamping bubbles. Others are humble goat hair tents. In all of them, you'll hear stories by the fire. You'll drink sweet tea. You'll listen to the sand speak. This land belongs to the Ziliat, a proud Bedouin tribe who know every crack in every rock. They've guided travelers for centuries. Come sunrise, ride a camel across the dunes, or climb a cliff where Lawrence of Arabia once stood. And when the night wraps around you like velvet, look up. This isn't Mars. This is Earth at its most poetic. Women and the Constitution. A changing tide. Jordanian women can vote, drive, own land, hold office. But between law and life, there is tradition. In Amman's urban core, you'll meet women in high heels and headscarves, architects, doctors, filmmakers, activists. In rural villages, you'll see women tending goats, raising children, guarding ancient customs. Both realities coexist. Marriage remains a powerful institution. Family honor still plays a large role, and in many homes, a woman's role is expected, not chosen. Yet the tide is shifting. More girls are graduating from universities than boys. Female entrepreneurs are launching startups. Some women lead government ministries. In the 2022 constitutional reform, Jordan added gender equality language for the first time, a signal, a step. But it's not just about laws. It's about conversations in kitchens, daughters asking for more, mothers remembering their own dreams. Change in Jordan is not a storm. It is a desert wind, slow, persistent, reshaping the dunes, inch by inch. And as women claim space, they do so with elegance, patience, and pride. Would you like to hear the story of one such woman in Jordan? Let us know in the comments. 7. The Martian commute. Shared taxis and chaotic charm in Jordan. Transportation isn't just movement, it's human connection on wheels. Outside of Amman, don't expect Uber or Google Maps precision. What you'll find instead is the yellow taxi. But here's the twist. You don't always ride alone. Flag one down, state your destination, and if someone else is headed your way, the driver picks them up too. Strangers become brief companions. Elders chat freely. Teenagers scroll silently. A grandmother might hand you a candy without a word. This is the shared taxi, or service car, and it's the rhythm of Jordanian roads. There's no meter. You negotiate, you wait, you trust. In the villages, even cars slow down if you're walking, offering a ride without being asked. The chaos, it's real, but so is the charm. Some say it's disorganized, others say it's poetry in motion. Type chaotic harmony if you'd ride like a local. The olive tree as heritage, 180 words. In Jordan, the olive tree isn't just a tree. It's a grandmother's blessing, a father's labor, a child's inheritance. These ancient trees, some centuries old, stretch their twisted limbs across hillsides like storytellers frozen in time. Each autumn, families gather to harvest, hands stained with oil. Laughter echoing across groves, plastic crates stacked high with the fruit of the land. Some press it themselves, using family presses passed down through generations. Others send it to co-ops, where machines hum and churn out golden liquid. This oil isn't just for salads. It's poured over hummus, cooked into rice, offered to guests as a sign of respect. In Jordan, olive oil is memory, bottled. And for many, the tree in their yard is more sacred than gold. Friday, family feasts, the most sacred meal of the week. Friday morning in Jordan begins slow, the air thick with the smell of cumin, onions, and simmering lamb. It's family day, a holy ritual more binding than contracts. By noon, homes swell with relatives. Cousins dart between rooms. Grandmothers stir giant pots. Uncles argue playfully over whose coffee is stronger. At the center, the feast. Rice mountains crowned with meat, yogurt sauces cooled with mint, salads so fresh they seem picked moments ago. Laughter fills every corner. Elders offer stories with each spoonful. Even those who live far return, just for this meal. It's not just about food, it's about roots. About being reminded where you come from, and who will always make space for you at the table. If you've ever felt the warmth of being surrounded by generations, you already know what Friday in Jordan feels like. Would you join a Jordanian Friday feast? Type, "I'm hungry already." Jordan is not a country that shouts, it whispers, through windswept canyons, through the footsteps of pilgrims, through the steam of coffee rising at sunrise. It's a land where time slows, but meaning deepens. Where strangers offer you bread without knowing your name. Where you look up at the stars in Wadi Rum and feel, perhaps for the first time, that the universe is listening. It's not always easy, it's not always modern, but it's rich, with humanity, hospitality, and history carved into stone. So if you're seeking more than luxury, if you're craving depth over dazzle, Jordan will welcome you, quietly, firmly, like a desert that remembers every step. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Until next time, may your path be guided by curiosity. Let me know when you'd like the full combined version of the 4,000-word script in a single document.